What is going on, Trash Talkers? We are back with another episode for you. In today's video, we're going to debate whether or not the Patriots and the Buccaneers are on a collision course to meet again in Super Bowl 56. All that and much more coming your way right now! Hey Trash Talkers, over 85% of you are still not subscribed to the channel. Please be sure to hit that red subscribe button and turn on notifications, as it will help us create more daily content for you. Thank you and enjoy today's video. Alright Nick, it was brought to our attention that two teams we're very interested in might be on a collision course for Super Bowl 56. That being the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the New England Patriots. Now what a story arc that would be for Tom Brady to face his former team and Bill Belichick in his second season away from the Patriots, these two teams meeting. It would be absolutely incredible, and I think that the NFL is probably salivating for this to happen. We saw what the numbers looked like just from a Sunday night football game. I can only imagine what Super Bowl 56's numbers would look like. I want to ask you this. A, do you think this is possible? Do you think it's going to happen? And why would the Buccaneers make sense in this situation?
I absolutely believe that we are headed towards this scenario. The Buccaneers and the Patriots are finally at the top in their respective conferences, and they're making their way even further as the season gets closer to the playoffs. So yes, I think that we are very likely to see this matchup. And for the Buccaneers, let's take a look at their season so far. They started out really hot on that Thursday night football game against the Cowboys, and then they continued to have really good games. But then they had a quick setback against the Los Angeles Rams, and then they had another win, and then they were down and they were up again, and it was back and forth. And then continuing even after the bye, losing that game to the Washington football team. That was not the way the Buccaneers expected things to go. Look at last year. It was 7-5 and everybody counted them out, and they went undefeated for the rest of the year. Guess what? Everybody counted them out when they lost to the Washington football team. Look at them resurging right now. They know how to win when they need to. Tom Brady plays his best football after Thanksgiving. This team is starting to get healthy again on both sides of the ball. You're getting your secondary back. Rob Gronkowski's back, and we just saw the massive implications of him being on the field does for this team. It makes them night and day different. They are 10 times better with him on the field. And Antonio Brown's about to come back just for a cherry on top of this cake, because there is a plethora of weapons going around. Leonard Fournette is unbelievable right now. Everything's clicking for them at the right time. This is why you need to believe in Tom Brady. Never bet against this man.
I would never bet against that man, but I also wouldn't bet against Bill Belichick either. And, you did a great job explaining why the Buccaneers would make it, and obviously this is pretty much the same exact roster that they went to the Super Bowl with last year. But a roster that's completely different is the one that the Patriots are rocking right now. I mean, you take a look at this defense. They are number 2 in overall scoring. They are number 1 as a team in turnover differential by a large margin. I mean, massive margin. And on top of that, the points are just not there for every other team when they face this team. Now, you can say, oh, they haven't played top tier competition, or if they haven't won against top tier competition. Well, I would tell you that on their 6-game winning streak, they're averaging 35 points on offense, only giving up 10, and that included a 24-point game to the Los Angeles Chargers. Outside of that, the next 4 games, they only gave up a total of 26 points to those 4 teams. Not looking pretty, and one of those teams was the Tennessee Titans. The New England Patriots are for real. Mac Jones, you can say all you want about his dopey-looking face, and he's not the overall, most exquisite. He doesn't have the arm. He doesn't have the mobility. He doesn't have the flashy play potential. but he's smart with the football. He has the highest completion percentage we've ever seen from a rookie quarterback, and not by a narrow margin, by full 5 percentage points. I mean, this man is on another level when it comes to completing the football. And you talk about the weapons he has around him. Kendrick Bourne, Jacoby Myers, and Nelson Aguilar, they may not be Mike Evans, Antonio Brown, and Chris Godwin, but they are doing an enormous job for this offense, being the possession receivers we need them to be. On top of that, Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith have really given this offense a dynamic weapon up the middle of the field, really utilizing these tight ends in different ways as well. We see Jonnu Smith running the ball. We see him on screens. We see a lot of the 2 tight end sets that we saw with Rob Gronkowski and Aaron Hernandez, and now this rushing attack with a top 3 offensive line, with the number 2 ranked defense in the NFL, which honestly should be 1. I think that this team really needs to take a look and say, you know, you can say, okay, the Baltimore Ravens, Lamar Jackson, he does the flashy plays. You can take a look at the Buffalo Bills. This is going to be one hell of a test for the Patriots the next few weeks. They have the Buffalo Bills this week. Then it's a bye week. Then they have the Indianapolis Colts in Indianapolis. Then they have the Buffalo Bills again. That 3-game stretch in 4 weeks is going to tell us everything we need to know about this team. This Patriots team reminds me a lot of the 2001 Patriots we saw with Tom Brady at the helm. We see a lot from this team, especially on the defensive side of the ball. They don't give up yards, they don't give up points, and they make turnovers when they need them the most. They give more opportunities to the offense to get into scoring range. I really like where this team is headed, and when everybody else is zigging, you can expect Bill Belichick to zag, and that's what he's doing with this power run offense, time of possession, and just absolutely killing you with his defense.
Yeah, I think that both of these teams are very well matched against each other. And who doesn't want to see Tom Brady versus Bill Belichick just one more time? Because who knows? Could this be Tom Brady's last game if he gets defeated by Bill Belichick? Or if he wins and beats Bill Belichick, could he then just ride off into the sunset just like Peyton Manning did? I think that this would just be one of the greatest games that the NFL could put together. So I know a lot of people are going to be rooting for this, and you know, some people are going to be rooting against this if your team is competing. But nonetheless, if it came down to who's winning this matchup, I think I have to take the New England Patriots by a very slim margin, because when you look at the way these teams are constructed, they're built to go up against each other. It'd be really close to their week 4 matchup, where it was a fairly low scoring game for these high powered offenses. And when you look at what it'd be next in the next out, and when you think about what it would be in the next outing, it would be even less scoring, because these are 2 great defensive teams. They're going to figure out how to get stops. It's really what offense can prevail. And I think this is where Mac Jones ushers in his era. We saw the Buccaneers and their offense win in the regular season, but defenses win championships. Bill Belichick is the greatest defensive mind in NFL history. The combination of Bill Belichick and Mac Jones is going to be too much for the Bucs to handle.
This is a tough one for me. I almost want to say that I have the Buccaneers in this one, just because of what you said earlier, Nick. You don't bet against Tom Brady. And the fact remains, their offensive weaponry is just absolutely phenomenal. In that game in week 4, they didn't have Rob Gronkowski. They didn't have Antonio Brown. They struggled in that game. And I think right now you have to take a look at the Buccaneers and say they are a more holistic team. With Leonard Fournette running the ball the way he is, and this offensive line actually putting drives together, that is going to be the X factor for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers moving forward, is the offensive line. Are they going to be able to hold up? And on the defensive side of the ball, it's their DBs, it's their cornerbacks and their safeties. Can they create turnovers? Can they limit coverage? What can they do against opposing wide receivers, especially when you bring in the New England Patriots, who don't have that number 1 type receiver that you have to absolutely stop? The Patriots offense is not predicated on one player. It's an entire system. I think that's where a lot of these defenses struggle, because they can't just pick one thing and say, we're going to stop that and make you beat us with this other thing that you don't do well. the Patriots do everything well, and that's going to be a hard thing, but so do the Buccaneers. And I think at the end of the day, I'm riding with Tom Brady. As much as it pains me because I'm a Patriots fan, I will root for the Patriots, but I will not be upset if Tom Brady gets another Super Bowl. I think that the Buccaneers would actually beat the New England Patriots in the Super Bowl.
Hey, we both think it's going to be close. I think that's as close as we're going to come to an agreement on this one, but I know at the end of the day, we're both rooting for the Patriots because, let's face it, they're the greatest team in the NFL.
Well, I want to hear from the haters. I mean, the fans. I want to hear what you guys have to say. Would you want to see a Buccaneers-Patriots Super Bowl? Let us know in the comments down below what you think of this potential. And if you did see this, who would you root for? Do you root against Tom Brady or do you root against Bill Belichick? Let us know in the comments down below. All right, well, that's going to be all for now. Thank you all for watching. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell. We go live every single day. That'll be all. Peace and love.